My name's Malcom Rudolph. I'm from Brisbane in Australia. I've been cycling for about 10 years now, so it's been a lot of hard work to get to where I am at the moment, and it's my first time to South Africa, so I'm really looking forward to the week here and spending a bit of time and seeing what life's like here and the racing as well, so it should be good. When the team said we were coming over here to race, I was really excited about coming. So I put my hand up straight away and said, yeah, I'd like to do it. From what I've heard, it can often come down to a bunch sprint. So yeah, I think that's the main goal is not to get dropped on the hills and then be there at the finish and have a crack at the sprint finish. So that'll be my sort of tactic going into the race. And we've got a couple other guys who are a bit better on the hills, so they'll probably attack through the hills and try to get away, maybe by themselves or in a small group. And so we've got a few options there to try and win in a couple of different scenarios. Yeah, Mark Cavendish obviously is one of the best in the world, and I've never raced against him specifically before. So it's always good to test yourself against people who you look up to and who are better than you are, basically, just to see how you compare. So that's a bit of a challenge, and I think we're all looking forward to it, just to see how we go. I think once you get to a certain level, you have to really work hard at whatever you do. Talent only gets you so far, so obviously I'm somewhat talented, but you definitely do have to work hard at whatever sport you're doing, and cycling is no different. If anything, you probably have to work harder than most other sports at it if you want to be really good. So, but yeah, it's always continually trying to improve and get a little bit better each year, and doing all the little 1%ers that all add up to improvement. Time away from home often it gets a bit hard after a while. You're just on the road all the time, and although it is good to travel and see a lot of places, I also value time spent at home, just, you know, living a somewhat more normal sort of life that, you know, most normal people do. To them it seems boring, just waking up, probably going to work every day and coming home. But for us, I really value just being at home when you're on the road all the time, living out of a suitcase and hotel room to hotel room. It's yeah, I really enjoy spending time at home, being in the routine of, yeah, a lot of the time, especially if the weather's bad or you're not going so well or you've been sick or something like that, it is hard to be motivated from time to time. But yeah, you just have to push through those periods, and then usually you come out of it and things are better again. So it's yeah, it does have its challenges, definitely. Yeah. Well, you have favourite races for certain reasons. Like some are really hard and challenging, and you get satisfaction out of getting through it. Like Qinghai Lake last year was in China, was really hard at altitude, and I got sick as well. So getting through it came with a good sense of satisfaction. But it's hard to say really what my favourite race would be. That's a good question. I don't know really.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your worst race?
Worst race? Tour of China 1 and 2 last year was terrible. It was just some days we didn't actually have enough time to race because you'd do 3 or 4 stages, and then the next day would just be a travel day. So you couldn't actually race that day. They'd organised a travel day. So you'd sit on the bus for 12 hours and drive to the next place as a transfer. And every day was at least 5 or 6 hours on the bus after the race, and in China, and the food's really bad and you get sick really easily, and it was just a really hard, very poorly organised race. I think motor pacing is really good. Behind the motorbike's really good for specific race training. It gives you a good feel for riding at race speed. And then of course you can do efforts behind the motorbike as well. You can do sprints off the motorbike, and just riding behind the motorbike gives you that race sort of race speed, race tempo, and it's really specific to racing. So I think for training it should be about simulating the types of efforts you'll do in racing, and motor pacing it's good fun as well. So it's a really good way to get that done. Yeah. Well, depending on what racing you've got coming up, like if there's criteriums and short, sharp events, then you can focus on more sprint-related efforts. So, you know, 20-second, 30-second, 10-second efforts, stuff like that. And also for time trialling, you'll do longer efforts at threshold, that sort of thing. Yeah. My favourite session, it's a pretty hard one, is what's called 20-10s. So you'll do a 20-second sprint at like 80%, and then 10 seconds off, just easy, and then 20 seconds on again, then 10 seconds off, and repeat that over and over for 5 minutes. And after the end of 5 minutes of doing that, those 20-second blocks, it really starts to bite towards the end. So it's really hard. I wouldn't say it's enjoyable in any way, but you definitely get some good gains from it. So yeah, it's really good bang for your buck for your training time. Sure, I like the idea of doing an Ironman triathlon sometime in the future, just for the personal challenge, not to be good at it or anything, but just because it's such an epic sort of event to do. I'd really like to train hard and up for an Ironman and do one of those one day. So the swim would be all right. The bike, I'd have that covered, but the run would really hurt me. So I'd have to do a lot of training for the run. But that's something that I'd like to do in the future. Yeah, just try a heap of different sports that I haven't had the opportunity to do during this period where I've been just on the bike the whole time.